Forests are valuable resources, yet the rural people who live in and around them are often poor, partly because they usually do not have rights to make income from particularly valuable products such as timber. Despite this limitation, forests remain important to rural livelihoods. Many rural people rely directly on forests to supply products to meet their domestic needs. Others collect forest products for sale. Income from forests can help people to buy products from markets and also to meet seasonal food shortages by purchasing food. Rural people are often seen as passive victims of poverty, and the use of forests by rural people is often seen as a controlled exploitation of forests. These are very simplistic views. The reality is that local communities often manage forests quite effectively. Many rural people have a deep knowledge of forests and actively manage them so they will produce desired products. At the same time, they use the forest in such a way that the forest will continue to be productive in future. Local knowledge and local organizational capacity are applied in creative ways to address issues such as food security and income generation. This film will look at 3 case studies of community forestry activities in Thailand in order to look at some of the ways in which local knowledge, local initiatives, and organizational capacity enable people to improve their livelihoods. Hue Hin Lat Nai village is a small village in the hills of Chiang Rai province in northern Thailand. The people of Hue Hin Lat Nai are members of the Karen ethnic group. The population is around 100 people from 20 households. The village is a poor village. It is situated inside a reserve forest. Although the people have been there many years, long before it became a reserve forest, government policy does not encourage them to remain, and there is little infrastructure. Nevertheless, the community is recognized as a model for careful and efficient use of forest resources. The villagers produce upland rice for their own consumption, but fields are small and there is only one crop each year. Food security is a problem, and the forest is very important to maintaining food security. Most people in the village cannot produce enough rice to feed their families for the whole year. The people purchase rice with income from forest products. They also consume various forest foods, including fruits and vegetables. The main source of income is from tea. Tea trees are found within the forest interspersed with trees such as dipterocarps. They are often mixed with planted fruit trees such as mango, pomelo, lime, and persimmon, and with wild fruit species such as chestnuts and bananas. Although there is a peak season for production of quality tea, lower quality leaves can be collected throughout the year and sold to local tea factories. Timber is needed for domestic use, but is not sold. Most timber used is from fallen trees. The village remains largely self-sufficient. However, this does not mean that the economy is a subsistence economy. The villagers meet most of their needs from forest products, but they do this both by direct consumption of forest products and by purchasing goods with income generated from the forest. The key to their self-sufficiency is careful and efficient use of a diverse range of resources based on detailed knowledge of species, their potential uses, and management practices. Farming and forestry are inseparable parts of a forest-based agroforestry system. Locally produced seeds are used for planting a variety of crops and trees in upland rice fields. But forest knowledge is not limited to knowledge about planting and harvesting. When given the chance, people experiment with new and better ways of doing things. A few years ago, representatives of the Raw Project, supported by His Majesty the King of Thailand, came to purchase wild persimmon seeds from the villagers. From the project, the villagers got the idea of grafting branches from improved varieties onto wild stock. Then they experimented with different ways to apply the techniques.
คือต้นเล็กนี่คือเราเสียบเปอร์เซ็นต์ที่จะเป็นหรือว่าประหยัดไอ้สายยางที่เรามัดหรือถุงยางก็จะใช้ถุงยางเล็กถ้าต้นใหญ่เกินไปลำบากแต่เมื่อก่อนนี้พอดีตอนที่เกษตรมาแนะนำใหม่ๆเราเข้าใจใหม่ๆเรานึกว่าต้นใหญ่ภูมิต้านทานอะไรจะดีกว่าเราเลยเอาเสียบต้นใหญ่พอต้นไม้โตขึ้นโอ้ลมพัดมันก็หักไปเพราะว่าไอ้เยื่อที่ห่อหุ้มข้างบนมันยังไม่พอไม่รับน้ำหนักไม่ไหวเลยมีปัญหาขึ้นมาเลยเอาใช้ต้นเล็ก
People often talk about local knowledge or traditional knowledge or indigenous knowledge. Sometimes it's assumed that this local knowledge is conservative and unchanging. However, local knowledge is not static, and innovation and creativity are important. Pretnai village is located in Trat province of eastern Thailand, near the border between Cambodia and Thailand. The village is situated in and around a mangrove forest. It has been occupied for about 100 years. Fishing and crab collecting are important economic activities. Rubber production is also a major source of income. Fruit growing is also important. For many years, the mangrove forests were locked by a mangrove forest concession, resulting in severe deforestation. The harvested trees were used to make charcoal. The logging caused many problems for the village because the loss of forests led to a reduction in the harvest of crabs from the mangroves. The harvest was reduced from up to 50 kilograms per day to about 10 kilograms per day. This affected the villagers' income badly. In about 1983, the villagers formed a group to stop the logging. Eventually, after years of lobbying, the effort was successful and logging was stopped. In 1987, the community began to plant trees in order to renovate the degraded mangrove. Somewhat later, shrimp farming also became a problem. In order to establish shrimp farms, the seawater had to be blocked to kill the trees and clear the land. This wall was built to block the seawater. It was later blown up by villagers. Blocking seawater destroyed the mangroves and also affected income from the harvest of marine animals. Shrimp farming continues to cause problems, although many former shrimp farms are now used as fish farms. About this time, a monk living in the province visited a village in southern Thailand where the villagers had started a savings fund. When he returned to Trat, Pra Subin Panito organized a training course in his temple for villagers from the province. Some people from Pret Nai attended and a savings fund started.
ประโยชน์ส่วนตัวเมื่อเราได้อบออมแล้วสิ่งที่เราได้รับคือเงินปันผลต่อแต่ละปีค่ะจะมีตอบแทนที่เราเป็นสมาชิกเราจะได้เอามาใช้ในชีวิตประจำวันและส่วนรวมคือเราจะได้เอามาช่วยทางถนนช่วยในด้านผู้เสียชีวิตจะได้เงินเปล่า 1,500 บาทแล้วเราจะได้ตรงชาปนกิจอีก 6,000 ค่ะ
The idea of the savings fund came from outside the village. The villagers were impressed because it had worked in other communities. They adapted it to their own conditions. In Pret Nai, the initiatives taken by the villagers to deal with the logging concession and shrimp farming built their confidence and organizational capacity. They applied this to the savings fund. Success in this led to a further increase in confidence and the willingness and organizational ability to cooperate. Building on their increased confidence, the villagers have become concerned with more active management of mangroves. They have a good understanding of mangrove ecology and its importance to their livelihoods.
ถ้าเราคิดกันให้ดีนะครับป่าเลนก็เหมือนอย่างโรงงานที่ผลิตอาหารธรรมชาติให้แก่ชุมชนแล้วก็ให้แก่พี่น้องที่อยู่ในพื้นที่ใกล้เคียงทั้งหมดที่สามารถที่จะเข้ามาหากินในพื้นที่ป่าเลนได้เพราะป่าเลนนั้นคือต้นไม้ไม่ว่าใบไม้หรือว่ารากของเขานั้นเป็นอาหารของสัตว์น้ำที่จะเข้ามาอยู่อาศัยในป่าเลนเพื่อเพาะพันธุ์ขยายพันธุ์จะทำให้ในหมู่บ้านนั้นสามารถมีสัตว์น้ำได้คือใช้ประโยชน์ของสัตว์น้ำได้ไม่ว่าจะเป็นกุ้งหอยปูปลาดังนั้นถ้าเราดูแลป่าเลนให้ดีก็เหมือนอย่างเราดูแลโรงงานที่ผลิตอาหารธรรมชาติให้แก่ชุมชนเพียงแต่เราไม่ต้องไปสร้างโรงงานเป็นพันล้านเพียงแต่เรามีการจัดการดูแลป่าชายเลนให้ดีให้มีระบบ
Mangrove crabs are an important source of income. They're very popular as part of a salad mixed with papaya. An individual farmer can earn 200 or 300 baht a day from collecting crabs. The community has established rules to ensure sustainable harvesting. People are supposed to collect only mature crabs and no harvesting is permitted during a short period in October when the crabs are laying eggs. The management system is not perfect, and with some outside help, a formal mangrove management plan is now being prepared. This builds on what has been learned by experience over the years. Galaw village is located in southern Thailand, near the border with Malaysia. It has been occupied for about 300 years. Galaw is not a particularly poor village. The people, who are Muslim, maintain many cultural and religious traditions. Rice farming is an important form of economic activity in Galaw. Rubber production is also important. Inside the forest near Galaw, there are many traditional fruit tree gardens. These gardens, called dusong, are owned by extended families. The gardens produce a rich supply of durian, mangosteen, and other fruits. Medicinal plants and other food species are also collected. There are some innovative ways to collect fruit. The benefits of the forest management system are important in Galaw. Income from fruit trees and non-timber forest products is high. The village is well known for the way income is generated the whole year round. A plan has been developed for harvesting different fruits at various times of the year. In the past, the Dusong owners took care of an area of forest adjacent to their gardens. In 1978 to 1979, the forest was given for a logging concession, and a lot of trees were cut down. The people decided to conserve the forest for the community.
ระยะหลังๆนี้นะครับก็มันเกิดจากความเจริญเข้ามาถึงชุมชนก็เพิ่มขึ้นในลักษณะนี้ก็เกิดการเปลี่ยนแปลงขึ้นมาในลักษณะว่าการจัดการป่านั้นจะต้องเปลี่ยนระบบแล้วให้ทันต่อสถานการณ์สังคมเดี๋ยวนี้ทางเรานี่ก็ได้จัดการแบ่งเป็นโซนนะครับเป็น5โซนเรียนแบบจากในอดีตนะครับเรียนแบบจากบรรพบุรุษเราสมัยนั้นก็7ตระกูลแต่สมัยเรานี้แบ่งเพียงแค่5โซนเพื่อให้มันแคบลงดูแลให้ทั่วถึงให้ทันต่อสถานการณ์เดี๋ยวนี้
Partly because they have been encouraged by their successes in forest-based activities, the villagers have initiated other community activities. These include a savings group, which, following Muslim custom, makes donations to poor members of the community. There is also a forestry learning center in Galaw.
ครับศูนย์ข้อมูลของกลุ่ม อนุรักษ์ป่าชุมชนกาลอนนะครับศูนย์เหล่านี้สร้างขึ้นมาเพื่อว่าความรู้ต่างๆที่เรามีอยู่นั้นจะต้องเก็บไว้ที่ศูนย์ข้อมูลนี้เพื่อว่าลูกหลานเราต่อไปในอนาคตนี้จะได้เรียนรู้ในศูนย์เหล่านี้เพราะว่าที่ผ่านมานั้นความรู้หลายๆอย่างนะครับเรามีอยู่ภูมิปัญญาท้องถิ่นเราบรรพบุรุษเรามีหลายเรื่องนะครับที่สูญไปหายไปเพราะไม่มีที่เก็บนะครับทีนี้เราคิดว่าศูนย์ข้อมูลเราเนี่ยจะต้องเป็นศูนย์ที่สามารถช่วยให้เยาวชนในหมู่บ้านเราและเยาวชนภายนอกเข้ามาเรียนรู้ศึกษาต่างๆในศูนย์เหล่านี้ได้
These case studies show how people have developed ways of addressing their needs and have used forests as a part of their strategies. The local knowledge is not passive, nor is it just local. People take ideas from many sources and test them. These characteristics of local knowledge and local learning processes have implications for outside agencies concerned with rural development. In Thailand, the Social Investment Fund provides small grants to communities to assist with development activities.
Another application which we have found is that community link each other and learn from each other through networking process, because in the south of Muslim community they are relative. So through relative, they learn how to expand their experience and help each other and learn from each other. In other part of Thailand also, the networking of those community organizations are a crucial part of learning process. In the past, government officials tend to be a commander or teller or director what community or villager are supposed to do. But what we have found that a new role of government officials or development workers is to facilitate the dialogue within the community, among inter-communities, and among community and other multi-party people in urban area, in various agencies. So this kind of interdisciplinary and participatory dialogue are most crucial to let them learn together. So what the worker is supposed to do to become a facilitator, to become a listener rather than commander or teller.
Interestingly, many of the grants given so far by the Social Investment Fund have been given to communities involved in community forestry. Fred Nai received a grant to build a walkway to assist in educating people about mangroves. This was the priority need identified by the community. The capabilities and cooperation arising from forest management seem to provide a basis for further community development. Rural people are not just passive victims of poverty, any more than they are uncontrollable destroyers of forests. They're actively involved in solving problems of poverty and forest resource management. They use their local knowledge, often combined with new ideas from other communities, in innovative ways to solve problems.